We're driving a 2023 Honda Accord. Coming up, we're going to tell you all the ways that the Accord is more family-friendly than an SUV. But first, information explosion. The Accord is all new for 2023. It's entering its 11th generation, which is kind of mind-blowing. Let's begin with interior.
There's a kind of graceful futurism to the interior that I really enjoy.
In the Honda Civic, there's the honeycomb trim. Here we've got a variation on this.
It almost looks like Space Bees made it or something.
I, for one, welcome our new Space Bee Masters. Much like the Honda Pilot that we reviewed recently, there's a satisfying quality to interacting with the switches and knobs. Overall, I think it's got a clean but very attractive quality to it. What about practical touches?
There are the 2 cup holders, and then there's also a little slot for your phone, and there's also additional cup holders in the door and door handle storage, which is the favorite of mine. Just always have random crap, and I'm always like, oh.
Living that mom life. Oh, she's the space. Did you do this trim up here? Did you make this?
Yep.
That's my Space Bee. And then in the center console here, for a midsize sedan, that's a fairly deep storage area. I think almost any driver could get in here, not have to consult a manual, and immediately figure out how everything works.
And I don't feel like it's missing any functionality despite its simplicity.
I'm gonna tease. There is one feature that I wish there was a button for, but we'll tell you about that coming up. Another improvement for the 11th generation Honda Accord is that they've changed the seat design. So they've tried to enhance how much thigh support we have, a little bit more lumbar support.
They are very comfortable seats, but the passenger does not allow adjustability of height. So I feel like I'm riding very low in here.
You're just kind of barely peeking up over the... In Honda's press materials, they claim that the Accord has the best-in-class passenger space and rear legroom. I believe them on that rear legroom figure. There's a lot of legroom for a mid-size sedan, but also if you had a car seat back there and you wanted to have a rear-facing car seat, that'd give you a ton of extra space. If I had one complaint, so I'm 5'10" with a long torso, as you may have heard me say over the years, and on a poofy hair day, my hair just barely brushes the headliner. With a slight slouch, it's not so bad, but a little more headroom in the back might be nice.
Poofy hair day, like those trees.
No, they are having a poofy hair day. You know who's not having a puffy hair day, though? The Space Bees!
Remember, I'm a Space Bee.
Moving rearward, there are 16.7 cubic feet of space. It's a roomy trunk, fairly low liftover, and standard pass-through, though in the base LX trim, it's a single seat back. So I would be very inclined to move up trim to get that 60-40 split. The other thing I know back there are gooseneck hinges, which kind of intrude into the cargo space a little bit when you lower it. A more complicated hinge mechanism might free up a little more space, but then that also adds costs. There's also this pneumatic arm on the one side. That leads to a feature that Honda has on the Accord. They call it a self-opening trunk. And I was like, what does that mean? It could be like a Hyundai system where you just stand next to the trunk and then it automatically opens after a preset amount of time. It might open when a Space Bee arrives and the Bee wants to get into the cargo area. All it is that when you use the button on the trunk lid or you use it on the remote, it doesn't merely unlock, it physically opens all the way.
I'm gonna fly out and open the trunk.
Quick reminder, I don't know if you guys have been following along, but our daughter is a Space Bee. I like that has become the theme of the video. On that note, Space Bee, how is it climbing in and out of this car?
I don't have to climb, I just have to fly. Just kidding. It's easy because it's very low.
And that's one of the ways that the Honda Accord is more family-friendly than an SUV. Extremely easy ingress and egress for little children. And sweetie, how is it getting the car seat installed?
There are latch flaps covering the latch points, and once you remove those, it's very easy to install a car seat.
As for safety, neither the NHTSA nor IIHS have rated the Honda Accord yet. Honda has targeted 5-star NHTSA and a top safety pick plus for IIHS. Traditionally, that's how the Honda Accord has rated, so I would be shocked if it did not hit those marks when they do wind up rating them. As for active safety features, you've got lane keeping assist, automatic emergency braking. There's also full speed adaptive cruise control and 10 airbags, including front knee airbags for both of us and rear side airbags. Family, what do we think? Is the Honda Accord family friendly?
Family friendly.
Yeah, small family friendly. Rear window test.
Almost all the way down.
Almost all the way down. Woo. Armrest test. Driving in a comfortable 8 and 4. If I have a complaint here, it's that right on the edge, if you feel that, sweetie, there's a plastic ridge that makes that very firm right where my elbow lands. And then outboard, still pretty firm, but certainly more yielding than the inboard. I'm gonna go 85% outboard, 60% inboard. Hey! Would you like to see more videos like this where we review cars as a family plus the occasional helicopter adventure? If so, feel free to subscribe. Style! I will quickly interject that the sponsor for today's video is Flying Eyes sunglasses. I'm bending them because that's a thing you can do. They're made out of a material called Resilamide. It's extremely durable. It works wonderful in a helicopter context, but I'm not gonna bore you with the details. Click the link in the description below if you wanna know why we wear these in the helicopter and why Evie wears them in her daily life. And if you are in need of eyewear, whether sunglasses or eyeglasses, the link in the description below could be very valuable for giving you information about Flying Eyes. And if you use the promo code Micah, you'll save 10%. Flying Eyes!
I feel like the headlights are a little wide and narrow and the hood looks very long. It looks a little squashed to me. I like the rest of it very much, but I'm just not into the front end.
There is a lower, wider, longer aesthetic happening here. In fact, the Accord is, what, 2.7 inches longer than the previous Accord. There's a slightly wider rear track. It's got a fastback roof line. And all of that stuff is supposed to make you like it, but it doesn't work on you. It does, however, work on me. There is a brawniness to this Accord that was not present in the previous Accord. There's a spectrum of style quotients that you can get in the midsize sedan category, from fairly sedate to kind of outrageous, and I think they're kind of walking that line in the middle here. So we're split on how we feel about the Honda Accord, but what do you think? Do you like the look of the Honda Accord? If so, if no, tell us in the comment section. In motion! Through our many miles driving this Honda Accord, I noticed a couple of areas on choppy pavement where it felt a little bit taut for my taste, but generally speaking, I find the ride quality of the Accord to be pleasing, and it's just very stable on the road. You don't have to make a lot of adjustments, but when you do turn, in fact, you know, I'm just gonna do a little turn here. I think it's a balanced steering ratio. I didn't have to go hand over hand for that. It's very predictable and responsive, but not excessively so. I do very much find this to be a predictable handling sedan. And now we've come to a stop. This is a perfect opportunity to see how this thing accelerates right off the line.
Awkward pause, awkward pause.
Yeah. Still waiting. Neil's full throttle acceleration. Whee! So, prompt acceleration off the line. Hear the engine? It's going through gear changes there. That is a lie. This is all a bit of theater to give you the sense that it's accelerating in a familiar fashion like it has an automatic transmission. It does not. If you don't understand how Honda's 2-motor hybrid system works, you're like, I don't know, it's just accelerating like a car. Let's do that one more time just to experience the magic and the lies.
I believe the lie.
Isn't that crazy? It's a fun bit of sleight of hand, but I think they've done a really nice job making this feel familiar. Oh, and we have a light here. This is perfect. Let's see if I can come to a smooth stop. Just using my foot on the brake like a normal car, and very smooth stop. And it feels completely natural. And that is a really big achievement for hybrids. That is not always the case. And then we've got paddles here, and in the hybrids, the paddles go through 6 different gradations of regen. The lightest regen, it just kind of coasts. I'm gonna add more. I'm tapping on the pedal here. So this is max regen. It will not bring you to a complete stop, but at max regen, it does feel like you're braking without having to put your foot on the brake. So that gives you a lot of flexibility to really dial in the amount of regen that you want. I just wish it did come to a complete stop. Last thought, we do have a few drive modes here. These aren't present in the standard non-hybrid version of the Accord, which is the two lowest trims. Normal, Econ, and that sort of smooths out the pedal responses for slightly more efficient driving. Oh, and then as long as I'm in sport mode, let's feel, actually the steering feels notably heavier. If you skipped arms at the gym today, put it in sport mode. All right, that's what I think, but what does Sweetie think? Evie's at the wheel. You were just doing some low-speed maneuvering there. How do you find steering efforts?
I found them light and manageable. I need to find a new way to say that.
Yeah, but you did brush the hair after you said it. And then off the line here, how's that acceleration feeling for you?
That feels zippy. I like how much acceleration there is available to me.
Over there, where you have a height adjustable seat, how are you finding the view out?
I can see better than I would think, considering how narrow it gets at the back. And I can actually see past the B-pillar here.
Visibility in the Accord is another way in which this is more family friendly than an SUV if your family has trouble seeing out of the car they're driving. Last question, we always talk about size because you get a little bit intimidated by larger vehicles. This is a smaller vehicle. How are you feeling driving this? Are you comfortable in the Accord?
I am instinctively much more comfortable in this than a larger vehicle.
Another way that the Honda Accord is more family friendly than an SUV. If you're feeling comfortable over there in the driver's seat, I'm getting back in it.
Ah.
In total, Honda has made a vehicle that is well-rounded. I think people who like the Accord will like this Accord. Moving onward to emotion factor. Do you think there's potential for emotion here?
I think they made some unique style choices that give it some emotion.
I think also Honda has a potential modifier in the perception of reliability, and there's a lot of brand affinity there. And lastly, I think there are road manners that could be more thrilling than perhaps the SUVs everybody's buying these days. And when the driver's happy, the whole family's happy. That's another reason why the Honda Accord's more family friendly than an SUV. What do you guys think? Is there an emotion factor here? Are you feeling emotionally drawn to buy a Honda Accord of your very own? If so, you might need to sell your current car first. If you'd like to know what your current car is worth or how much you should spend on your upcoming Honda Accord, click the Kelley Blue Book pricing link in the description below. Remarks! Remark number one, infotainment. The standard infotainment screen is 7 inches. That comes in the two lowest trims that also come with the gasoline engine. And Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard. Then on all of the hybrid trims, so the upper 4 trims, they get this 12.3 inch screen where Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are wireless. And this is another area where the Honda Accord is more family friendly than an SUV. We recently drove the Honda Pilot and the largest screen there is only 9 inches. So if your family loves having a bunch of screen space, the Honda Accord is the better choice.
I like that the icons are large and color-coded. I found it very easy to navigate my way through the menus. I do prefer a physical button for the home and back button, but as long as I was looking where I was poking, it works great.
Let that be a lesson, everybody. Look where you poke.
I really like the Google Assistant functionality because I feel like it works much better than Siri, which is what I normally use. So I enjoyed using this system.
Yes, but that's only included on the touring trim that we've got. All lower versions of the Accord don't get that Google Assistant. You've got this really big thumb or finger anchor for making precise inputs on the screen. I think it is interesting that it is accentuated by this tiny little volume knob. Is that the most adorable volume knob you've experienced in a while?
It's pretty cute.
It's a tiny little knob. Also, with this extra real estate here on the screen, you have space over here for a little side menu where you can see, the power flow if that's a thing you're curious about. Oh, the engine's doing that, huh? Cool. Another advantage going to the larger 12.3 inch screen versus the 7th screen is that Alexa built-in is included with the 12.3 inch. We also have a wireless phone charging pad down here, but that's only included on the touring trim. Interestingly, you cannot get embedded navigation. The assumption is that you'll be using either Google Maps or Apple Maps. Where we live, where cell service is a little spotty, sometimes it is nice to have an embedded navigation solution. Moving over here, there is a standard 10.2 inch digital gauge cluster. Earlier in the video, you mentioned that the interior offers all the functionality you would need. There's one element that is missing from here, and that is an off button for the parking sensors. I know that because driving through a fast food restaurant drive-thru the other day, I couldn't figure out how to turn off the parking sensors as I was pulling up the pay. There really should be a dedicated button for that. And now it's time for the Muzio family smell test. Our daughter does not like new car smell. Let's ask her, sweetie, how do you feel about the smell in this car? Is it good, bad, or just okay?
Just okay.
And that was the Muzio family smell test. Sweetie,
Yes.
can I give you a trim recommendation?
Sure.
Our trim recommendation is which trim will give you the features you'd regret not getting, but at the lowest possible price. To my mind, the base LX trim is perfectly livable transportation at a manageable price. It includes that full suite of active driver assist technology, that 7-inch screen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, automatic climate control, and smart key access with a walk-away auto lock feature. That said, we recommend the $2,300 pricier EX trim that adds dual zone automatic climate control, power heated front seats with two-way driver lumbar that I really like, an 8-speaker audio system versus the base LX's 4-speaker system, plus a moonroof, and this is the important one, a 60-40 split rear seat. Because inevitably you're going to need to carry something long home from the store, plus your child. All right, let's talk about engine choices. So the engine choices include a 1.5-liter turbocharged engine in the LX and EX trims. It comes paired with a continuously variable transmission. Then all higher trims include a 2-liter hybrid like we have in our test vehicle here. The fuel economy is exceptional, especially in that EXL trim. If you're wondering, yes, the Honda CR-V uses roughly the same hybrid system, but notice the fuel economy versus the Accord. This is another way that the Accord is more family-friendly than an SUV. Lastly, the 2-liter turbocharged engine that Honda used to offer in the Accord is no longer available, so feel free to complain in the comment section. I miss it too. 2 more notes. Regular unleaded is fine throughout the Honda Accord lineup, and if you want a spare tire, avoid the hybrids. They only include a tire repair kit. Among the competitors, there's a bunch of choices. The Hyundai Sonata, the Subaru Legacy, if you want all-wheel drive, the Toyota Camry, and the Kia K5 is another one. And if you're curious what we thought about the K5, click right up here. Did we miss any remarks? If so, tell us in the comment section. Synopsis! In thinking about the essence of the Honda Accord, it seems like it might not be up to the task, in this case family duty, but in the real world, it's very, very capable. To me, it is the fuzzy orange winter hat I bought for a photo shoot of mid-size sedans. We recently had a blizzard where we live, and while spending many, many days out shoveling, I wore that hat that was just sort of a cheap prop that we got for a photo shoot, and that hat rocked. It was unexpectedly capable.
Is that going to be your new winter look?
Yes, yes it is. Family, I think we've done a good job reviewing the Honda Accord. May I have a 5 and a 5? And you, come get your high five. Bam! Space Bees!